Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Luxxfolio's channel. We are once again here with CEO Dean Linden, who previously jumped into his past journeys in the entrepreneurial landscape. Had kind of a wild ride, but there were some pretty massive successes in there too. So, suggest you guys give that video a watch. But Dean, how are you doing today? And are you ready to jump into the company?
I am absolutely ready to jump into the company, Michael.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's kind of break it down for people what it is that Luxfolio really does. I mean, some people are familiar with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, a larger growing percentage of people, but can you explain what you guys actually do in that industry?
Yeah, so I think that, in order to understand Luxfolio, you really got to understand our relationship with our private credit partners, Cypress Hills partners. Um, I'm a co-founder of that company. It's a $50 million debt fund currently, and it really has an interest in investing and lending into the crypto space, among others, many other spaces.
Okay.
But it's really provided Lux the opportunity to get exposure to mining equipment,
Hmm.
where a lot of other companies have struggled to sort of take delivery of, with this global chip shortage. Lux's relationship with Cypress Hills has afforded it a situation where it has been able to secure a significant number of miners, almost 600 miners,
Wow.
that are going to be delivered late April or early May. So, that suddenly affords us, makes us a little bit of a different beast, because we're going to have a very efficient mining operation. And as you know, the global chip shortage has sort of slowed the difficulty rate a little bit
True.
in the area relative to what you might think, because of the price appreciation. So, it's a meaningful differentiation between us and a lot of companies, the other companies you might look at in the space.
That's true. With mining, as you had said, it's a good time to get into it because with the chip shortage, the price is pretty high right now for Bitcoin,
Yeah.
Ethereum, any of the big dogs that you can actually mine right now. You stand a good chance to make some good profits, especially when you buy a bulk amount of miners like that. Do you know like which currencies you guys are planning on aiming at?
Right now it's Bitcoin, but I think, Ethereum is attractive to us. And I think, again, going back to, with our access to capital, A, being public, B, having debt available to us, we're kind of a very attractive partner to a lot of these groups that might have sort of survived the crypto winter and emerged and now go, geez, we've got a bunch of outdated equipment. We've tapped all of our friends, we've tapped all of our family. How do we move forward, for the next 5 years? And we in some cases can be a very attractive option for those groups.
Okay, okay. So you got the crypto mining you guys are going to be getting started and rolling with. Can you tell me more about these unique identifiable assets? Like what does that term really mean for people?
So, I think it's probably the evolution of the NFT. So just some history on that. Back in 2017, again, Cypress Hills Partners was looking at a way to access, collectibles, sports memorabilia, treat that more like an investment. So it's not something that's hanging over hanging on a wall in a billiards room someplace. It's something that institutions can actually invest in. And we built a platform to exploit that opportunity back in 2017. Nobody really cared. We were calling it unique identifiable assets. Of course, now we know that those are non-fungible tokens. But I think that is an amazing area to be in, and I think that we're on the forefront of it. We're sorting it out, but it moves so quickly that you have to sort of decide where the ball is going, not where the ball is at. Because I think that 6 months ago, people would say, "Oh, we have the ability to create NFTs." Well, now, my kids can figure out how to do an NFT over the weekend.
True.
So, it's continuing to evolve very, very rapidly. And I think that we're looking at that through the lens of almost like a DeFi type of opportunity. Like, how do these NFTs, or unique identifiable assets, whatever you want to call them, how do they fit into the bigger picture? So, for instance, a guy that in Africa is participating in a frictionless way in the economies with a currency that is accessible globally. And that's
Yeah.
kind of what we're working on specifically. It's moving so quickly. It's hard for me to really say, um, what is going to transpire there.
Okay.
But I think we're kind of putting ourselves in the middle of that.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're very, very right in terms of when it comes to anything in the cryptocurrency space or anything really on the bleeding edge. It's really all about looking at the next step that is coming up, not what is happening right now, right? And there was always like I'm sure you remember back the ICO boom. It was kind of the same thing. Like at the time that the ICO was booming, you shouldn't really be looking at starting ICOs at that point. Now it's like, okay, well, what's going to happen next? What is the next step, and how am I there taking it in stride, not jumping into what everyone else is already doing? So that's
Exactly. The hype cycles that we go, whether, like you said, ICOs, now it's NFTs, they inform what's coming next. They aren't what you should be doing right now. And I'm not saying that there's not going to be a lot of money made in NFTs and there's not a lot of great
true.
technologies and a lot of good companies and all that stuff. I'm just saying that there's a revolution happening that goes far beyond somebody selling a piece of artwork that's an NFT. It's bigger than that, and it's getting your head around how to exploit that and how to best spend your time in order to exploit that on behalf of your investors. And we've been pretty good at that um, up until now. I mean, if you look at when we bought our crypto miners, we bought them in December of last year. So and it was basically done on a mathematical equation. We like the yield,
Yeah.
the price you could buy the miners versus what the underlying commodity was being sold for. It made sense to us, and we're gonna apply that same filter to the NFTs or unique identifiable assets or whatever comes next, because it will be what's next.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. So with what's coming next, you said it's kind of hard to dive deep into it or anything. What can you predict or what can you kind of tease of what's coming?
Well, I think what we're excited about, we're going to close the West Block transaction, which is our custodian, our data centers, and we're excited about getting that wrapped up. And on the heels of that, we're going to take delivery of our machines, late April or early May. At that point in time, we've got significant revenue coming in off of that one asset.
Yeah.
And I think you can look for us to be extremely creative in the pieces that we add to the puzzle next. As I say, we've got the expertise for to do mergers and acquisitions and things like that. We're quite well versed in that. We've got money, access to capital, access to expertise. And I think that you can sort of see us being quite active in that area, in addition to things that might be happening in the I'll call it, maybe in the DeFi space for us. And I wouldn't want to tease that too much, just because I'm probably going to be somewhat wrong about it if I do that,
Yeah, well,
frankly.
things move fast, right? So that's a good thing about being a small ship is you can kind of move with the current, move with the waves, and chart a course a lot easier and change it at any time. But
Yeah, I think Michael, the thing we don't want to do is we want to chart a course. We don't want to chase anything. We don't want to be chasing the NFT craze only to find that when we get there, it's over. We want to be a little bit, and we did that when we acquired our miners. We kind of moved before everybody else, believing that this was going to be something that was going to be a big win for us, and it has been so far.
all right, Dean, was there anything else you want to squeeze in about the company to kind of shed some light on it, or you think this is good for
I'm
now?
good. You know what? When something comes up, maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, yeah, about to say. So, yeah, everyone, thank you for watching. We'll get some more updates to you as soon as we can. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to shoot them over. We'll be happy to sit here and answer them for you all day. Dean, thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, Michael.